One question is, what is something you always held on to during hard times? I think the thing I held on to through hard times is probably having prayer and faith in God. I don't know what I'd do without that. I probably never told my children all the time that I prayed, and that there was another time that Lee was hit by a car coming home from school. He was running and ran out in front of a car and got hit. And I started getting these phone calls, Della, Lee was hit by a car. And I'd say, where? And they'd hang up. Della, Lee was hit by a car. Where? And finally, the next call I said, where? Before I even had them tell me anything. And they told me, and I ran up to the corner where it happened and rode with him to the ambulance to St. Mark's Hospital, where they told me that he had a real bad concussion, that he had no reflexes from his waist down, and they did not know if he would be all right or not, or if he'd even walk again. Well, I called Dale at work, and him and another person from our ward that he worked with came, and they gave him a blessing. And we could not stay with our children at that time. You had to leave the hospital. You couldn't stay. And we came home, and I knew with all my heart he was going to be okay. After the blessing, I knew. And so when people called on the phone, which I had lots of calls, I'd say, he's okay. He's going to be okay. We're going to bring him home tomorrow, and he'll be okay. And he was. He was okay. We brought him home. He walked fine. The doctor said he'd probably be at least 16 before he would be able to remember things good in school and get good grades in school. He was about 10 when this happened. And that's pretty much how it was. And he can't remember lots of his childhood or anything much before then, or much before he was 16 years old, and still has a little trouble with memory. But he was okay. So I had to have lots of faith and trust in God at that time. So probably the best advice I could give my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren is have faith. God is real. Heaven is real. And we're on this earth to grow and learn, and to learn how to use our agency. We're given agency. I don't know if you call it free agency or not, because there's always a penalty if you do the wrong thing. But we have agency to choose right from wrong. So pray and choose the right. That would be the best advice I could give